Hey guys, Cher here, and welcome back to our seasonal anime impressions video. This time, we're jumping into the summer of 2018, which is coming to a close as the fall of 2018 is just beginning. Surprisingly, like in the last impressions video, I didn't find any series that needed to be avoided as possible. Well, it's kind of because there wasn't a lot of series that interested me that much, which is kind of disappointing as an anime fan. I wish I could have watched more that wasn't leftovers from last season's anime, but oh well. Without further ado, let's get started with the Drop series. My Sweet Tyrant. If this show was released in a past decade or two, I think it would have counted as funny. Now, with many movements going on lately, I'd say that there are things to be offended by, so I dropped this pretty quickly. There's a huge difference between being a tsundere and being somewhat abusive, and this series quickly steps on the borderline between those two things. I just couldn't watch this series and find any enjoyment out of it anymore. Shoujo Kageki Review Starlight. Wanna know how boring the series is? Evanito mistook it for Revolutionary Girl Utena during our podcast. And to his credit, I think anyone could mistake this for that if they got a quick glance. No offense, buddy. I thought I was actually going to get an interesting musical anime with fantasy elements by looking at Review Starlight, but just how it is doesn't make any sense to me. How many of the girls know about the tournament, but they can't tell each other? I don't get it. How does that play in the real world? It doesn't. Grand Blue. The start to the series was absolutely funny as hell. But the problem with the series is that it doesn't bring that many new jokes to the table. Every episode is the same. Naked boys going to class, boob jokes, the boys getting drunk and ending up naked in class. Really? Is that all we're going to do here? There are some heartfelt moments, but not that many to keep me invested. If it got better later in the series after I dropped it, then this series didn't do a good job with grasping me while it still could. Holmes of Kyoto. What started out as an interesting mystery anime about the genius mind of an artifacts analyst turns into a post-college high school drama, which has been done to death out of constant boredom of the writer. Yeah, just because the main female is a high school student and the main guy is a college guy, or after that, it was unclear, it doesn't mean that you have to throw in the romantic drama for the sake of doing it. Skipping the nope section, here are the series I finally finished or caught up with. Piano Forest. This series has two things I love the most: tugging at heartstrings fuel and beautiful music. First of all, you don't have characters like Kai, his teacher, and his mother that often. Kai is the child of a hooker, but he loves playing this magical piano that lives in the forest outside of the apartment his mom and he live. But this is a type of story where it's rags to riches, something that I see more often in classic American and British novels, but not much of Japanese fare unless it's for comedy. This is a drama, and it's a beautifully written drama at that. There's no giant misunderstandings or rivalries, it's just good luck combined with bad luck. It's called life with very few hints of fantasy. Plus, you get excellent classical music in the process. What more could you ask for? My Hero Academia Season 3. Damn, this series brought the heat. We are finally getting down to the roots of what My Hero Academia should be about. We're at the point of the learning process for the students of Class 1A, especially for our mains, Deku and Bakugo. I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't kept up yet, but I will say that this season just got a lot more epic than seasons past. I will say that the tournament arc can get grating at times, considering this is a superhero show, but there are elements that need to be seen regardless of how boring it is. Either way, there are still more good things about this season than bad, and I love it. Trust me. 9 out of 10. Steins Gate 0. This series took everything I thought I knew about the original Steins Gate and flipped it on its head. Like, this season is very unpredictable. I mean, very unpredictable. It's not a secret that the series is like an alternative route to the ending to the first series. This route gives us a completely different side of Okabe that we wanted to see from the first series. This also gives us a lot more information about the future that Suzuha comes from. Ugh, I can't spoil this either, but I'm happy to announce that Mayuri finally gets an arc for a change. Can't explain why, but she does. We get a lot of answers to the questions we've been asking, and it doesn't make the plot more convoluted, which is what I was worried about from the first series. A golden 10 out of 10, right there. Free, Season 3. It feels strange to see another season of this show because it seemed like Season 2 was the last we were going to see on TV, while maybe one more movie would be released for the entire series. However, we got a Season 3, and I was so happy that it exists. As a result, it was kind of underwhelming. Now that Haru and Makoto are in college, I was expecting them to go through college struggles. As Makoto did have some slight college struggles that is relatable, the series was more about Haru trying to regain a friendship with an elementary/middle school friend. At 18/19 years old, he's still worried about that. Then we also get Nagisa and Rei arcs too, but they are more put on the wayside and used as somewhat comedy instead. Go even gets a little Kohai assistant who is obsessed with fat instead of muscles. Okay. Though the series did share the same spirit as the last two seasons, it definitely took a route that I didn't expect and I wasn't sure that fans were looking for. I know that there was a movie before this season, so I'm kinda out of the know about the backstory, but I don't think that should matter if this is another season, but I'm really not sure of the direction this series took, especially since this series is an original and not based off a manga or light novel. If you guys like it, don't get me wrong, I liked it too. Just not as much as season 1 or 2. 6 out of 10. Cells at work. When it comes to showing how things work inside of your body, I say it does it very well, and I'm pretty educated now on the subject than I was before. However, what kept me from enjoying the series is the main character. A single red blood cell. Why they had to make her your cliché clumsy type? I don't know, because that doesn't make her relatable. It makes her annoying. Fortunately, she wasn't too annoying, but I still didn't like her that much. I mainly watched this show because of the white blood cells. Yep, because of that. Also, I want to bring up a point that Robin from Anime America brought up about a specific episode, and I'm afraid I will spoil this because it occurs in the later episodes out of the 13. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled, please jump to this time marker right here. There's an episode where it discusses how cancer cells work, and everyone knows that cancer cells mean complete and utter danger for the body, so they are to be killed at all costs. What does this series decide to do with this next villain of the series? They give Cancer Cell a tragic backstory about how he never wanted to be born deformed and he watched his friend die, so he had to disguise himself to live a normal life. Now, do I agree with this approach to a character that's considered a deformed cell? Well, if we're gonna turn cells into people here, it's very easy to say that no one ever asked to be born deformed or disabled in a certain way. People like myself have experienced discrimination of the sort in some way or another, at some point in our lives. And it is wrong to judge a person based on their flaws. However, I do agree with Robin in saying that this villain character causes one of the greatest illnesses. Trying to be a victim is one of the most insane writing ideas any person can think about. I get it, no one wants to be born to be destructive or anything like that. But then, his way of getting revenge is creating cancer anyway. Who was the one who came up with that? Then you got the rest of the cells feeling bad as they kill him because, oh, he wasn't born to cause trouble. What would have been better is if he didn't have the goal to cause cancer in the first place. Are we really going to give credit to a person who wants to commit crimes but blames his runaway upbringing for how he turned out? Gee, where have I heard that before? Sorry, editor me. At the end of the day, this series does its job in teaching how the body and diseases work with ease, and even though the main character is your cliche klutz, it honestly could have been worse. 7 out of 10. And that's about it. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And check out the rest of my channel if you want. I'm Cait, Cher, and it's been real. Ciao!